Hi and welcome to Steve Chats Wrestling right here on YouTube.com. Thank you for choosing the channel and choosing the video. Remember, you can subscribe right now, leave any comments in the comment section, like and share the videos as well. You could be listening as well via SoundCloud for this particular one. This is SCW The Wrestling Podcast on this channel. Do follow us right now. This is the WWE Battleground 2016 results and review show for you with me, Steve from SCW. Good look at the kickoff to begin with, and very interesting on the kickoff. It seemed that Cesaro was a guest on the panel, and he was going to be talking about Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens to talk about their feud. And he went to start saying how it ruined his momentum with the IC title, how he had The Miz defeated in previous attempts, and it's made him lose himself in the shuffle. But then it seemed that he actually seemed to go off script. He said that he wants to wrestle and not be on the panel. He said that there are other people that can say what they want to say on the panel and say what they're going to do, and he just wants to be in the ring wrestling. He would do anything to be in the ring right now rather than be on that panel. Now, Renee actually said to him on there that does the suit actually tear off, because it seemed to just break momentum. Then we see Booker T saying no politicking right now, so it seemed that really did seem to go off script and off topic, rather than actually Cesaro talking about Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens in the build-up. Actually, he actually related it to himself and seemed very frustrated and angry when he looked at the camera, and really sad as well. Obviously someone who clearly wants his position in the company and wants to be wrestling and giving his all each and every night, and he is being underused. Let's not argue anything here. Cesaro is someone who should be in the main event picture now, especially with a draft split as well, the two brands, Raw or SmackDown. And actually, to be honest, I think Cesaro actually has got a chance on Raw being on a higher level on there, because you look under Sami Zayn and Roman Reigns. I mean, Brock Lesnar is not going to be there all the time. Who is going to fill the spot when those two are not in the title picture? Because they can't rival for the next year in the title scene. So people like Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, Cesaro, Finn Balor will perhaps get their opportunity. Even Rusev, maybe a crack at the title, and there could be a chance of stars being made here. The only thing is, though, now Cesaro might have really dampened his opportunity here, because he said he wanted to be on the wrestling show, which was SmackDown. He'd openly said that, politicking in the week in a shoot. I'm not sure if this shoot is going to come off as well. I think he may have got away with it before. I mean, he did say he was saying what other people wanted to say, but had actually the balls to say it. I'm not sure it was such a clever move, though, to be honest, looking forward. We'll see how Cesaro is treated now going forward for the next couple of months, but do not be surprised if he is jobbing, I'd say, going forward. There were questions as well for the GMs, talking about it gives a bit of interest to what the shows could be going forward, with Mick Foley and Daniel Bryan both saying that it's about the wrestlers and not about the powers that be. They want it all to be a focused spotlight on the superstars, which is quite interesting to see, and let's hope that is the case. I mean, I would really be a fan of that, because the authority figures, of course, they have a key role on these shows, but I think we've had a bit of an overkill in the last couple of years, so it'd be quite nice to see people naturally get to progression to where they should be at the top, rather than us feeling like they were supporting people that are naturally going to be held back by the authority and evil stable at the top. It doesn't flow anymore, and we need that freshness and change. We'll move on, though, for the actual match of the pre-show, which was the Usos versus Breezango. It was a quick match. It was about 5 minutes long. They didn't waste any time getting to that sort of upper end, fast tempo end of the match kind of way. We see, though, actually Breezango pick up the victory in the big surprise there. We see one of the Usos jump up the top rope for the Uso splash, and the knees were held up, and it was countered into a roll up for Breezango to get the victory. Pretty surprised with that one, but it's good to see Breezango are going in the right direction. I do like them as a tag team, so I'm very much in favour of that. Looking at the main show, then we had the right match, I think, opened the card up. We had Charlotte and Dana Brooke against Sasha Banks and a mystery partner. Now, there was rumours, and it was actually spoiled really for a lot of people, that Bayley was spotted, so we knew it was going to be Bayley going in, but still the right move to do, kicking off the show with it. Big pop for Bayley coming out. Now, this is meant to be a one and done deal for the time being, so do not expect to see Bayley on Raw or on SmackDown this week. She's undrafted. She's not with any particular roster. She's not going to be there. She's not expected to be there until after SummerSlam. So there you have it. That's some breaking news for you there. But it was done tastefully. It was done correctly. Sasha and Bayley picking up the victory. Sasha Banks getting a bank statement on Charlotte for the tap-out victory. So the face is picking up the win there, and definitely sets up Banks and Charlotte for SummerSlam for the Women's Championship. Next, we see the New Day versus the Wyatt family, and I've been on and off with this feud the whole way through. I think it would have made more sense if Xavier Woods had been under the spell to the point he joined the Wyatt family, but I'm not sure I wanted to see that either. I just think these two styles just clash, and although maybe in some parts they've made some interesting TV, the compounds thing, it didn't work for me. It was a direct copy of TNA's Final Deletion, and I just wasn't on board with it. I've got to be brutally honest with that. But looking at the match itself anyway, Xavier seemed to be under the spell of Bray, but he broke free to attack the Wyatts. We see all members in a brawl, as you normally would in a six-man tag team match. We see Big E give the spear to Braun Strowman, which was enough to distract Xavier Woods. And of course, Big E almost breaking his neck for about the third pay-per-view in a row doing this. He needs to stop doing this move. It doesn't work. He lands on his head each and every time. But going to actually finish the match, we see Xavier Woods turn around and he ends up in Sister Abigail for the 1-2-3. The Wyatt family picking up the win over the New Day. Now, for me personally, alright, it's a swan song for the Wyatt family, but doesn't that make the New Day seem weak? We see now a group that's going to disband now. They're not going to be together. Braun Strowman's going to be on Raw. We see Rowan and Wyatt are going to be on SmackDown. I mean, are they going to be the original Wyatt family? Is Rowan still going to be a part of the Wyatt family with Bray until we see Luke Harper come back and it's the original three members? Time will tell, but Braun Strowman will be on Raw. Will he become a monster heel? In time will tell. We'll have to wait and see what happens there, but very interesting. I still think it, though, potentially has been a bad booking there, because that's your tag team champions. That's a six-man tag team match, and they've lost on this particular occasion. Surely the Wyatts should be entitled to a title match now, and we'll be interested to see, because the New Day are on Raw and 2/3 of the Wyatt family on SmackDown. Will the championships be defended on both shows? Hopefully we're going to find out in the next couple of weeks. I'm going to go for the two title matches for you next. We'll go with the United States title match first, Rusev versus Ryder, and yeah, I mean, it kind of, I said beforehand that WWE would not change the belts over. It would have been more exciting to do so, but the wrong guy is going for the belts, which is probably why this is the right decision, keeping the belts on these people. Rusev defeating Zack Ryder with an accolade. He goes to continue the attack after the match, and we see Mojo Rawley make his WWE debut at Battleground. It was a bit of a weird stare down, I must admit. I found it a bit strange. Rusev seemed a bit perplexed and not really knowing what to do. There should have been some form of attack here to knock Rusev out of the ring, but Rusev just walks away with the United States title. And, well, to be fair, a deserving champion in my eyes. I said that I would move a little bit ahead of the card just a touch. We see the Intercontinental title match, The Miz and Darren Young. A very bizarre match. It just doesn't work for me. The ref threw the match. I don't really care if it was a DQ one way or the other. The ref just threw the match. We see Maurice slap Bob Backlund. She then throws herself to the floor, I think accusing him of touching her or something, like slapping her or something. I'm not quite sure, or just perhaps nervous of the reaction. Either way, it was seriously off-timed. It just looked awful. We see Bob Backlund kind of throw his shirt off. We then see The Miz hit Bob Backlund to the floor once again. Darren Young then seemed to be a more of a $1 million dream than Bob Backlund's chicken wing thrown on the outside of the ring. There are 3 signals for the bell, and it's basically a no contest, really. And again, I think The Miz is more deserving the IC belt over Darren Young, although I would have preferred to see the Intercontinental title on Raw and the United States title on SmackDown. But for the challenges that were there, it didn't work for me, so these results turned out correct. Looking then for me, what has to be an amazing match. Of course, there was a bit of a major botch in the match, but still a 5-star match between Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. We see Sami Zayn, I have to mention the botch, unfortunately, guys. Even though it's such a great match, you always point out the things that go horribly wrong. Sami Zayn goes to, he's on the ring apron. He's going to do where he kind of springboards himself. The legs are on the ropes to do a moonsault to the outside. Doesn't really get the right sort of leverage, and bangs his shoulder on the ring apron as he goes down. Very lucky not to seriously hurt himself. But Kevin Owens kind of then worked on the shoulder and the arm for that match. You could see there was some real serious discomfort from Sami Zayn. It was very well done, though. Eventually, it got back to the normal state of the match, and we eventually got some great exchanges from the two. But we see Sami Zayn hit the haluva kick on Kevin Owens. As Kevin Owens goes to fall to the floor, Sami Zayn holds him up and looks at him. It's almost like there's going to be some remorse, and instead of remorse, he makes sure he finishes the job. He pins him back into the corner and hits a second haluva kick for the victory. And is it going to be end of this feud? Probably not. But you know what? I honestly could watch these guys fight forever. I think they are amazing together in the ring, and I know they just need a bit more story development if they are going to continue this on, but it'll be very interesting to see what happens from here on. Next, we see Becky Lynch against Natalya, an all SmackDown affair. Sharpshooter for Natalya getting a victory after she sort of kicked through the referee's legs to get an advantage on Becky Lynch. To be fair, for me, this match was quite dominant, and I think it was very bad booking. I think it made Becky Lynch seem quite weak. I'm sure a few people might argue with this, but I feel that maybe it could be the right result, though. I just think I would have made Becky Lynch look stronger. They're definitely going to have a rematch probably at SummerSlam, maybe in the pre-show in some form. Becky Lynch will eventually get the win in this rivalry. It's just a matter of when rather than if. We next get John Cena, Enzo Amore and Big Cass against AJ Styles and the Club. Of course, John Cena will be going to SmackDown along with AJ Styles. Enzo and Big Cass along with the Club will be going to Raw after this, so it's the last time we get a fantastic six-man tag team match. I really enjoyed it. A lot more excitement than we got in the first six-man tag team match. Some really good spots put together. Enzo Amore and Big Cass on the mic before the match. Wow. For me, it really was mind-blowing. Fantastic. You could see even John Cena looked impressed with the mic work there. And the only thing I perhaps wouldn't have agreed with on that promo was Big Cass actually gave Enzo Amore a bit of props during the promo. I think you just left that for us to do it rather than actually praising it yourself. That's the only negative I have to that. But apart from that, it was an amazing promo, and it was a very good match as well. I thoroughly enjoyed it. We see everyone, of course, Mayhem is a six-man tag match. Of course, there's always the standard where these guys have it, where the rules are going tag in, tag out, and then towards the end of the match, everyone is all over the ring doing all sorts. But we see an AA from the second rope from John Cena to AJ Styles picking up the victory for the faces. We next see the highlight reel. This is Chris Jericho with Randy Orton. Discussing Brock Lesnar and saying that Orton is scared. Jericho. Orton says not at all. It takes 20 suplexes to go to Suplex City, and Viperville, it takes one RKO out of nowhere, no enhancements needed. And that, I tell you, was a line in itself. The line of the night for me. Chris Jericho actually said you're going to pay for that comment. He says that Brock Lesnar actually spoke to him and says that Randy been avoiding him for the last 15 years, which is why you're scared. He's going to rip your shoulder off and eat for breakfast, and also says you're a stupid idiot. Jericho teases the RKO out of nowhere. Randy teases it back. He kind of laughs and looks like he's going to hit to the floor, but instead he hits the RKO instead. We all saw it coming from a mile off, but you know what? It was a lot more entertaining than what I thought it was going to be. I actually recommend that you do see this part of the pay-per-view. The Shield triple threat match, should I say, finishing off for the WWE Championship. Dean Ambrose of SmackDown against Roman Reigns, and also against Seth Rollins. Both are on Raw. It was a very good match, and you know what? They really linked everything together well. I quite enjoyed this match. I thought it was definitely almost as strong as Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. Both were matches of the night candidates for me. I just like the way they kind of used the Superman punch on Rollins from Reigns, and then we got Ambrose where he's kind of falling back into the ropes and comes back and hits the closer. Quick succession moves like that. We see the Shield power bomb, but only done through two members, of course. Rollins actually with Ambrose putting Reigns through an announce table doing it as well. We see the end of the match where Reigns looks like he's going to pick up the victory. Of course, Rollins had always hit the pedigree and it was kicked out of from Reigns, but Reigns hits the spear on Rollins, and then just as Reigns is about to get the pin, we see Ambrose come and hit the dirty deeds and gets the victory. 1, 2, 3. So we see that Dean Ambrose is still the champion, and SmackDown will have the WWE Championship on Tuesday night. What is going to happen for Raw? That is the big question, and we're going to find out tonight. But for me, the show of Raw was alright. I must admit it wasn't the best pay-per-view. I'm going to give it a 6.5 out of 10. I enjoyed it, but I can't say that I was oversold by it. There was a couple of great matches and a couple of really good moments that you will think about afterwards in time to come, but all in all, I think that this was more of a standard pay-per-view show. It's the minimum of what you should expect when you're watching a WWE pay-per-view special. Of course, we have Raw coming up this evening, and SmackDown. The draft splits are going to be taking their shape for the first ever time, but how is that going to go? Let me know in the comment section. What did you think of Battleground as well? I'd love to know your feelings and opinions on it, and remember to subscribe to me on YouTube right now, Steve Chats Wrestling, #SCW. If you're listening via SoundCloud, you're on SCW, the Wrestling Podcast. Please hit the follow button for that as well, and I thank you very much for listening and taking the time to listen to this review. But until next time, take care of yourselves, and please subscribe.